Hi, YouTube. How are you? I'm doing all right. I had kind of a rough morning, but that's another story. Um, I thought I'd get on here. Somebody had asked me if I had any videos about faith. Well, um, I can tell you some examples of why I do have faith and help you to keep your own in that respect by remembering all the time that when I prayed for something and it did happen, like almost exactly what I needed, and times that I was in danger and I was saved. If you can like tap into all these times that not not the bad things that happened to you, but don't dwell on that, but think about the good things that happened that was sort of like a surprise. When you think about stuff like that, it helps you get through the hard times. So, really that's I've had so many horrible experiences that without God in my life, I really wouldn't have made it through them, and I know that. Um, it's really hard to explain, but like, okay, if you were really badly injured, like if you were bleeding and you found a way to stop the bleeding and you knew God was helping you guide you with or even eating the guidance that you can tap into to help yourself, all the things that give me my faith. There's so many different ones, um so many different things. um yeah I have a lot of examples, but then it would sound like a poor me video, and I don't really want to do that to people right now, because I know a lot of people are worried and struggling and suffering in their own rights, like where is my next meal going to come from? How am I going to pay my electric? I mean, all these things, all these concerns right now. So I'm kind of trying to be careful on what I say and how I put this out here. But so I kind of think I'll close it on that note for that, unless something else occurs to me that, I mean, there's no way I can absolutely prove to you why I have my faith, but I can absolutely tell you that we didn't make ourselves, and just being alive is quite a miracle. Um, if you look at it like that, and then if you really think there's a reason why I'm on this planet. I mean, there must be something, some reason God wanted to make one of me. That helps too, because then you start developing your talents and your gifts that God gave you and showing them to other people and sharing in their lives. And that's the human experience like that. So, but yeah, I'll tell you a couple things that went on today. First, this morning, I got on my Facebook and I ended up unfriending this woman, and it wasn't really spur of the moment. I tried to give it some time before I actually reacted, but I told her, I said, with all the pedophiles out there and having a child raped, people that are raped when they're babies, that different naked baby pictures just don't cut it for me without passing them around. I can't deal with that. So I did end up unfriending her. Might have been, like I said, impulsive because she's going to be my son's mother in law. But I figured, well, if she understands what I said and actually does have any kind of feelings towards that, that she could feel understanding for how I was feeling at that moment, maybe she'll friend me again and we can take it from there again. But I thought I'm not going to go any further on this. In that same line of thinking, I was sort of judged for being so stern with my sons and expecting them not to use, I mean, swearing is one thing, or kind of like a funny joke if it's not real filthy or anything. But if somebody's going to be filthy in front of me and then older people are laughing at it, I don't know. I of course, normally if they're not related to me or in my life in a big way, I'll just let it go. But if somebody imposes into my life and then keeps putting these jabs every day, then I got to do something about it. Otherwise, I just, whatever. That's how you are. God will grow you up and whatever, that type of thing. But being that this person friended me, and then every day it was something like a little jab of something of some kind of pain. So I kind of had to assess the situation. Do I want to see this on a daily basis? And so then my son ended up calling me, and I said, well, I just have to say it like it is. I don't like her. What do I say? So anyway, so that's how I started my day. That was kind of sad. Not kind of, really sad. um, I almost cried, but I held it together. Because, yeah, I feel bad about the weirdest little things, right? I'm a pretty sensitive person like that. So, then on this one post, this youngster was saying that he lived in a town of 400 people. It was a post of how 150 people can get together and make a town and have a mayor and that type of thing. Well, I know towns in Minnesota that are towns with mayors that don't even have that many residents in it. One town I lived in called Bethel, Minnesota, was 100 people. So I don't know, maybe in his state, wherever he was. But he went on to say that his little town would be a lot better when all the baby boomers dropped dead. So I told him, I said, well, I don't know about you, but my sons are happy I'm here. I taught them how to fish and build and skin a deer and, all kinds of things. So I know they're grateful for me, but I told them on the other hand, I can relate to how you feel with the um, hippie generation that was right before me. I'm just barely a baby boomer, so 58. So if it would have been like 60, then I wouldn't have been counted like on that. So, but I told him I felt the same way about the generation before me and the older ones, a little old, few years older than them. They wrecked my life, so yeah, I can I can relate to that. But I told them with love from me to you, piss off, you know. So just a couple exciting little things in my day. But yeah, I've been a little extra sensitive too because I think a lot of us are trying to get family members that don't understand really what's going on or the ramifications of you know no food on the shelves, no gas in the stores. The state lines are going to be closed. I know they are. I sense it with all my heart that's coming next. Um, where we won't be able to just jump in our cars and go wherever we want anymore. So there was a guy in the park. He was with his wife and his child. I passed the video around, and the cops came up. He was throwing a ball to his daughter. It was a 40-acre park, and they put him in handcuffs in front of his 6-year-old daughter and hauled him away for violating um, the too close order or whatever it was. And another post I passed around, a guy up in Ontario got a homeless person got fined $750 for the no quarantine thing. How does that work? There's some really weird things going on in this world. So, anyway. Oh, I mean, I'm not overly stressed or nothing, and I don't anticipate myself getting like that because I've been in positions that God helped me out of that I never thought I could ever get out of, you know, like homeless on a mountain with absolutely no shelter. I took blankets. I hadn't made a tent for my children and built a fire, and there was a black panther up there, a mountain lion, trying to stalk us. So I couldn't sleep. I went like 2 weeks solid with no sleep, you know, and eating minimal so my kids could eat. And I didn't know how that was going to work out, but I met a woman, came out to run her dogs, and she ended up helping me out with the tent. And then I was able to use a newspaper at her house and find a job and a place to live. But I mean, I was up there for a month and a half, mostly by myself, uh, left up there, no vehicle and whatnot. Found a job cleaning cabins on a mountain and didn't have running water, but I could pack water. And so, I mean, I survived. I was able to make it back up on my feet again. And then I gave my tent to another woman that was in the same situation. So, yeah, I mean, just times that I didn't see any way out. Absolutely no way out, you know. But God brought people into my life and they helped me, you know. So, yeah, um, big reasons why my faith is strong. Even in somebody evil, you know, uh, basically, technically, to the core, I went flying off a cliff with a great big rock, about a 40-pound rock, and we were throwing it about 4,000 feet off a mountain. It was about probably a 10,000-foot mountain, but we were partway up, aiming for a creek that was there, a river, but there's no way we would have been able to even get even a smaller stone close to it. But we were throwing rocks. We were young people. I went off with the rock, and my ex grabbed me one arm, and I saw the look on his face. He did not want to save me, but God went into him. That type of thing. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that, but I was pregnant and I ended up, well, the baby was murdered, but that's another story. But maybe because there was two other people there too, and they would have witnessed him not helping me. I'm not sure. I guess I never will know for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Then to try and get rid of me and his son one time, he told me he started the house on fire. That was when we were starting to separate after like 16 years together. So, and I believed him after all the evil things he actually really did do, you know. So, anyway, lots of stories connected with that stuff. But there's there another day. you know. But I have many, many reasons. Even getting out of that house fire, I had a big white German Shepherd butcher tea, and he started just howling, and I woke up and smelt the smoke, and went in and got my baby out and put him in the car and drove out into the dirt road. It was up north by a lake, and so I drove out and then went back in and got the baby book, and I almost died in there. That was stupid. But I don't know. I think I grabbed like just I think his baby book and some documents, um, records, you know. So anyway, but then my ex opened the door, and a backdraft of fire came towards me, and I stepped back into my closet, and that flame, it was just like a hand going around me. I seen Satan, I did. And I held my breath and I was able to get out of there. But when he opened the door, he just about hit his knees from the heat of the stuff. And then we just watched as all the windows started popping out of there. And part of my house was saved. The fire department got there and then they left. That was at 2:30 in the morning. It happened thereabouts. And then when they left and they came, um, or they left and it started back on fire, and the rest of it pretty much burnt. So um, I was lucky. I had some pretty nice neighbors. I stayed there until I was able to get some help from the Red Cross and the local churches. And then I was able to buy a little trailer and put it on the property, and I couldn't afford to rebuild. Well, see, I would have had to buy the lot next door, and they wanted to buy my land because they wanted to build, and we wanted to, and I couldn't afford to build. It was right before winter, and I couldn't stay there. So um, I was sort of forced out because of that situation. So, yeah, it was all bad. I lost so much in that fire. I mean, just I had some really beautiful antiques from my aunt, my great aunt, that she gave me. Just phenomenal things like sideboards and china cabinets, and I mean, just totally beautiful cherry wood. So pretty. The one was walnut. It was like a sideboard. Um, but my dresser and my china cabinet and my one, I had a corner knickknack stand that was like 4 tiers tall, and that ended up getting water damaged. I had it stored, and but it didn't make it through it. But anyway, but it made it through the fire. Then I had a little um, tiny rocking chair that was, I ended up throwing it out, but it was mine. And then I was going to, well, it was for my son when he was old enough to rock, but he wasn't yet when the fire happened. So I had a giant panda in it, and that panda got a little singed. And the same, I had a quilt that said baby boy. I just got through. See, this is a freaky thing, too. I just got through remodeling the whole house, painting it, doing the roofing. I put, by myself, well, my dad helped me with the roofing, but I put masonite siding on it. And it's hard to cut even with a skill saw. So had to use like concrete screws and nails to put it in because it's some hard stuff. And I painted the outside and the inside. I trimmed everything. It had French pane windows, and I took the old windows out and then I reputtied them. And the moldings were like Oh, there was a little scoop in a line, so I literally rebuilt it and made that to look like the other panes, identical, and the trim in the house, and like I said, painting, and then I inlaid carpeting and all kinds of things. I I mean, and then I built my own garden by hand, dug it. My vegetables were growing. Um, had burned down everything, but there stood my garden, which was pretty cool. And roses outside and different things that I had planted. And so that was kind of remarkable to me. Here, this house burnt down, three-bedroom house, and I could sit at my kitchen table and just look out at the lake. Um, it was so beautiful. I just loved it. I get up in the morning and just be able to see the waves and the water, and I loved it. I do miss it. I always miss it. That's why I want to get back by a lake. I enjoy watching the water. So, but yeah. So anyway, this morning started a bit rough, and I just had to make a decision. Oh, and then I got a little fumeagated because I got a whole bunch of gas for everything around here, and chainsaw gas and stuff, and some of it spilt in the back of the truck. And I got a dishwasher back there, and we went to get it out, and a new one because my old one went kaput. So, anyway, getting that in, and then when I got it in, I wiped it down with cleaner and stuff. So, between the smell of the gas and the cleaner and everything, I sort of like fumigated myself. That happens sometimes. I mean, I didn't do it intentionally, but I got pretty swollen and stuffed up. I'm allergic to petroleum products, so even some cleaners and most scents, like essential oils, I'm not even supposed to be around any of them. There's only two that don't bother me is strawberry or raspberry, but strawberry oil and jasmine. Oh, another scent that doesn't bother me is, but I can't find it, is Hawaiian white ginger. That is like the best scent. Between jasmine and ginger are my flowering ginger is my two favorite scents. I just love them. I love rose too, and lilacs. I have quite a few favorites. Come to think of it, I could probably use rose oil. Um, I have like made rose water, and you can drink it or you can put it in your bath or that type of thing. So, because I have my English friends will know what the big old pink old fashioned roses are. They're English rose technically. They get about like, well, they start out like any rose, but they'll spread really big, but they're the most fragrant rose in the world. And the hips inside of them are just huge. So if you've ever had like rose hip jam or tea or that type, and they're really high in vitamin C. So if you ever are in the need of anything like that. So, but, well, I'm going to put this through. um, it was kind of a hard one to do because, well, I don't have my dishes done yet, and that washer isn't hooked up yet. And I've been doing them by hand for a while. Not a big deal, but I don't, maybe I won't do them tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have a little pity party for myself for a second. That's about as pitiful as I'll get it. Like, oh, I don't feel like doing my dishes. Boo hoo. But I did some sweeping and some laundry and some other things today. So I don't know. I'll see. But I have terrible OCD. So if I don't get something done, or like right now, I've got some stuff I've got to put away, and it just bothers me. And Doug's like, well, um, go sit down and have a cup of coffee. Don't let it bother you. It's like, yeah, right. You know, but I know he understands me. And he was even saying, most people don't even know me because they don't understand. But some people do, you know. But anyway, yeah, he knows. I'm pretty sensitive. Some people are. Some people aren't, but I am. What can I say? And you know what? If you are, I've heard that I was overly sensitive. There is no such thing. Usually, if, and it takes a lot to make me turn my back on somebody. But if I know they're doing something to intentionally bother me, um, it's not that it will bother me. This was like directed towards the whole world. Um, Naked baby pictures just never cut it for me. I'm not one of these moms that ever needed to take a picture of my babies naked. You know, I don't care. It's just the way I am. I think there's something off with people who think like that. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, sure, human bodies are beautiful, but put some clothes on. You know, that's meant for private times. Like, I have enough memories of changing their diapers. Why would I want a naked picture to remind me? I don't know. I just guess I think a little differently than some people, and that's just the way I am. I don't approve of it. I never have. I really dislike it. I think it's disgusting. So, okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. And Tiny Love, thank you for introducing yourself, even though that must not really be your name and you don't have a picture. I don't know you, you know, boy, girl, whoever. Would be nice if more people actually were themselves out in the internet world. But thank you for saying hello, and everybody else, happy Good Friday. And I love you very much. Thanks again. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.